Welcome, deep divers, to a truly intriguing journey today. We're about to explore a fascinating paradox.
Mhm.
How does the quintessential charming, slightly bumbling, floppy-haired romantic lead, the Hugh Grant we all thought we knew from the big screen, transform into this fierce, uncompromising, and incredibly effective advocate for press reform?
It's quite the transformation, isn't it?
It really is. What happens when that carefully cultivated public persona cracks, revealing not weakness, but rather unexpected layers of depth, conviction, and, well, oh, formidable tenacity?
It's a question that really gets to the core of identity evolution and the surprising paths our lives can take. Today we're going far beyond the familiar smile, diving into the life of a man whose career, his public personality, and his private life have just continuously defied expectations.
Yeah, we're peeling back the layers of a truly complex figure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Our primary source for this deep dive is a comprehensive look at his life and career, a really rich tapestry of details that lets us unpick the various threads of his journey.
It's like an archaeological dig, almost, into the making of an icon, discovering hidden foundations and unexpected turns along the way.
Exactly. And our mission for you, our listener, is to uncover the full, remarkable evolution of Hugh Grant, from his unlikely and almost accidental path into acting,
Right.
through his defining romantic comedy era, and the typecasting that definitely came with it, his deliberate and successful shift to acclaimed character roles, and his truly surprising emergence as a powerful and persistent voice against media malpractice.
Yeah, by the end of this deep dive, you'll gain a much deeper understanding of the choices, the challenges, and those crucial aha moments that have profoundly shaped this iconic British actor.
And how they might even resonate with your own journey of self-discovery, perhaps.
Potentially.
So let's unpack this right from the very beginning, because Hugh Grant's early foundations are, well, they're far from what you might expect for someone who became a global rom-com king.
Definitely not.
His family history, for instance, have been described quite vividly as a colorful Anglo-Scottish tapestry of warriors, empire builders, and aristocracy.
hmm
I mean, this isn't your average, everyday upbringing.
No, not at all. When you delve into it, you find a lineage that's quite staggering. We're talking about direct ancestors like Sir Walter Raleigh.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the renowned Elizabethan explorer, writer, courtier. William Drummond, 4th Viscount Strathallan, a Jacobite commander. John Murray, the first Marquess of Atholl. He even has a sister of Prime Minister Spencer Perceval, the one assassinated in 1812, in his family tree.
That's incredible lineage.
It really is. And it isn't just about aristocratic connections. It's about a heritage steeped in public service, intellectual rigor, military discipline, and maybe even a certain historical weight.
Right.
These elements, though subtle, they kind of begin to paint a picture of a background that might cultivate a sense of duty or a critical eye, elements that, as we'll see, subtly resurface in unexpected ways later on.
And his parents played distinct yet equally influential roles in shaping him. His father, Captain James Murray Grant, had a background in the military, an officer in the Seaforth Highlanders, before transitioning into, well, running a carpet business. But he also had this gentler artistic side, pursuing hobbies like golf and watercolor painting.
Which is a lovely contrast.
It is. In fact, Hugh Grant himself later organized a charity exhibition of his father's artwork titled James Grant, 30 Years of Watercolors. What does that tell you?
It's a fascinating duality, isn't it? His father represented this blend of sort of military precision and aesthetic sensibility. That charity exhibition suggests not only a deep bond, but maybe Hugh's own subtle acknowledgement of artistry, even if it wasn't his main path then.
Right.
Then his mother, Finvola Susan MacLean, she was a schoolteacher for over 3 decades, taught Latin, French, and music in state schools in West London. Grant himself credits her with any acting genes he might possess.
So you've got military discipline and art from one side, and academic rigor, language, music from the other.
Exactly. It's a very rich, almost intellectual environment for a child, quite far from the, lighthearted image he'd later project.
What's also interesting about his childhood is that despite this distinguished lineage and military background, apparently it wasn't always affluent. He's spoken about this.
Yeah, that complicates the narrative, doesn't it?
It does. You see a blend of experiences, like spending summers hunting and fishing in Scotland with his grandfather. How might these contrasting experiences, noble heritage, less affluent periods, these very grounded pursuits, have shaped him?
Well, it might foster a kind of adaptability, maybe even a healthy skepticism towards superficial appearances. That Scottish grounding offers a counterpoint to the more formal side. It suggests exposure to different ways of life.
which we definitely see later.
Absolutely, a quality that serves him well, perhaps.
Now, let's talk about his academic path, because that was also quite unexpected, almost a contradiction to his eventual profession. He had a genuinely scholarly start, Hogarth Primary, St. Peter's Primary, Weatherby School, then Latimer Upper School on scholarship.
Right. And he excelled. Sports, academic quiz shows like Top of the Form. This speaks to a sharp intellect.
Definitely. He wasn't just coasting.
Not at all. He went on to win the prestigious Galsworthy Scholarship to New College, Oxford, studied English literature, graduated with a 2.1.
It was a very respectable degree from Oxford.
Absolutely. It points to a very different, highly intellectual trajectory. Studying English lit suggests a mind adept at analysis, nuance, storytelling, language qualities that would later serve him surprisingly well.
Both in his acting and, as we'll see, his activism.
Precisely.
And he initially viewed acting as nothing more than a creative outlet, right? Just a temporary diversion.
Yeah, he joined the Oxford University Dramatic Society, played Fabian in Twelfth Night, even starred in an Oxford finance student film called Privileged in 1982. But still, he didn't see a career there.
What does that tell us about him back then?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it suggests someone not driven by this burning ambition for the stage, but maybe intellectual curiosity, creative expression, perhaps even a slight rebellion against a more conventional academic path.
Just an extracurricular, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And then, the ultimate twist. He actually turned down an offer for a PhD in art history at the Courtauld Institute.
He did? Why?
Only because he failed to secure a grant.
No way.
Think about that. A bureaucratic hurdle, a missed funding opportunity, is what truly nudged him towards reconsidering an earlier sort of casual offer from a talent agent.
So it wasn't some grand artistic awakening.
Not really. It was pragmatic, almost accidental, a redirection that profoundly shaped cinema history, all because of, well, grant money. Or lack thereof.
Wow. Here's where it gets really interesting, because that decision or non-decision kickstarted this incredibly varied road to stardom. Before he was Hugh Grant, the movie star, he was dabbling in a dizzying variety of jobs.
Yeah, it's quite the list.
Assistant groundsman at Fulham Football Club.
Which is remarkably humble, right?
Totally. Tutoring, writing comedy sketches for TV, even creating radio commercials for, like, Mighty White Bread and Red Stripe Lager for Talkback Productions.
It absolutely paints a picture of someone trying to find his way, exploring different avenues. Those writing gigs, though, invaluable training in comedy, timing, audience reaction, even if he didn't realize it then.
A very grounded experimental period.
Definitely speaks to resilience and adaptability.
He also faced the practical hurdle of getting his equity card, which you need for professional acting in the UK.
Right, the union card.
A supporting role in The Bounty in 1984, that's the one with Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins, required it.
Yeah.
So to earn his card, he didn't just walk onto a film set.
No, he joined the Nottingham Playhouse, spent a year doing regional theater, small roles, often grueling, Lady Windermere's Fan, an avant-garde Hamlet, Coriolanus.
That's proper dues paying.
Absolutely. It's a baptism by fire, honing the craft away from the glamour for live audiences. It's a crucible, teaches discipline, stage presence, provides a robust foundation, that gritty theatrical training.
Contrasting sharply with later Hollywood.
Exactly. Maybe instilled a deeper respect for the craft itself.
But even then, he got bored with small parts. This boredom led him to create a sketch comedy group called The Jockeys of Norfolk with friends Chris Lang and Andy Taylor.
Aha, great name.
Isn't it? And they didn't just play grand theaters, they toured London's pub circuit. Places like the George IV, the Canal Cafe Theatre, the King's Head. Sounds very grassroots.
And this group actually proved to be quite a hit. Showed an early flair for live comedy outside the conventional path. Their big success came from a sketch on the Nativity, told as an Ealing comedy.
Oh, that dry British humor.
Exactly. That got them a spot on Russell Hardy's BBC show, Hardy Goes To, after a good run at the 1985 Edinburgh Fringe.
So this early sketch comedy experience is key. Hints at the timing he'd later perfect, but also shows his ability to craft humor, often with a self-aware edge, long before the rom-com.
Crucial detail, absolutely.
He also got early critical acclaim for an outstanding performance in the 80s. An inspector calls at the Royal Exchange in Manchester in '86. So the talent was clearly there, even in these varied efforts. He wasn't just stumbling into things.
No, he was demonstrating genuine acting prowess. And then came what many consider his true breakthrough as a dramatic actor, Maurice, in 1987.
Ah, yes, the James Ivory film.
Based on E.M. Forster's novel, he gained significant acclaim, shared the Volpe Cup for Best Actor at Venice with James Wilby for their portrayal of lovers in early 20th century England.
A serious, complex, dramatic role. Very different from what came later.
Absolutely. Showed his range, capacity for deep, empathetic performance, established him as a serious actor, a fact often overlooked.
What's really telling about this whole early period before the megastardom is Grant's own characteristic and quite funny self-awareness about the projects he was taking.
Oh, yeah.
It was during this period, you see, that he famously coined the term Euro puddings.
Yarrow puddings. Love it.
He described them as films with a French script, a Spanish director, and English actors. The script would usually be written by a foreigner, badly translated into English, and then they'd get English actors in because they thought that was the way to sell it to America.
That's brilliant and brutally honest.
He even cited films like Bitter Moon and The Remains of the Day as examples.
Wow, even critically acclaimed ones. This self-deprecating humor, this clear-eyed, almost cynical view of his early career is crucial context. Highlights a period where he was taking diverse, unconventional projects, sometimes for craft, sometimes, let's be honest, just to work.
A rich training ground, even if he found them messy.
Exactly. Provided a wide array of experiences. This period of artistic experimentation and critical observation, even if he mocked it, really sets the stage for the dramatic and somewhat accidental shift that was about to come.
And what a shift it was. Because by the time he was 32, Hugh Grant was actually on the brink of quitting acting altogether.
Astonishing to think about now.
He was seriously disillusioned with a string of what he called bad scripts, feeling like his career wasn't going anywhere meaningful, contemplating packing it all in.
It's true. A career that defined a genre almost didn't happen. His turning point, as he vividly recounted, was reading the script for 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Ah, the script.
He expressed genuine surprise, immense gratitude. He said, quote, "If you read as many bad scripts as I did, you'd know how grateful you are when you come across one where the guy actually is funny."
It was a lifeline then.
Absolutely. A moment of serendipity that changed everything.
And boy, was that script funny. 4 Weddings, 1994, became a cultural phenomenon, not just a hit. The highest-grossing British film at the time, over $244 million worldwide.
Launched him as an overnight international star, literally a household name across the globe. Suddenly, he was everywhere.
Defining a new kind of romantic lead.
And the media quickly latched onto and actively promoted a very specific image. He was the affable, self-deprecating English gent, a modern matinee idol.
The blue eyes, the floppy hair.
That charming, bashful smile, impeccable manners, all leavened by the occasional expletive. It was a powerful, incredibly marketable persona. Audiences adored it.
But also kind of constructed, right? Didn't fully capture the man himself.
Well, yeah, that's often the way.
He won big accolades for it, Golden Globes, BAFTA for Best Actor. But with that immediate, overwhelming success came significant typecasting.
The double-edged sword of massive success.
He expressed real frustration, feeling temporarily typecast as the lead character Charles, a bohemian and debonair bachelor. He even said he felt people assumed he was the character and that it was all I could do.
That's a common trap, but profoundly challenging. The public, the industry, struggled to see beyond that charming, bumbling persona. It's a testament to his performance that it felt so authentic, but it quickly became a golden cage for an actor with more range.
As his earlier dramatic role showed.
Exactly. It was the start of a long battle against his own success, in a way.
He even tried to venture beyond acting right after that explosion. In '94, founded his own production company, Simeon Films Limited, with Elizabeth Hurley as head of development.
Right, trying to get more control.
They produced Extreme Measures in '96, Mickey Blue Eyes in '99, but it eventually closed in 2005. It's also quite ironic they lost a bid to produce About a Boy.
De Niro's company, yeah. The film he'd later star in to huge acclaim.
Amazing. It shows ambition, though, wanting to be a creative force even at the height of his rom-com fame.
Definitely. But his first big Hollywood lead, 9 Months in 1995, while a box office hit, got panned by critics. And Grant himself was incredibly critical of his own performance.
What did he say?
Said he really ruined it by trying much too hard, pulling faces, overacting because he forgot to do basic acting things like mean it.
Wow, that's brutal self-assessment.
Tells you about his artistic integrity, his perfectionism, even when he stumbled.
It speaks volumes. Interestingly, despite the rom-com success and the 9-month stumble, he still got positive reviews for more diverse roles around then. people couldn't forget his earlier dramatic chops.
Yeah, An Awfully Big Adventure in '95 showed him as a clever, versatile character actor. He also starred opposite Emma Thompson in Ang Lee's brilliant Sense and Sensibility and in Restoration, both in '95.
Proving he wasn't a one-trick pony even if the public saw him that way.
Exactly. Those roles were overshadowed by the rom-com frenzy, but they were there, demonstrating his capabilities. Then, 1999, reunited with Richard Curtis for Notting Hill.
Bigger than 4 weddings.
Yeah.
$363 million worldwide.
And this film actually let him satirize the woes of international notoriety with a delightfully funny deadpan as a faux journalist, which is quite meta when you think about it.
A global star playing a guy whose life is upended by a global star. Yeah, very clever.
But even then, critical reactions to his Golden Globe-nominated performance were mixed. Some critics started calling out his shambling self-caricature and the time-lapsed half-century it takes him to actually get one of his lines out, suggesting the charm was maybe becoming a bit much, almost parody.
And Mickey Blue Eyes, also 99, didn't fare much better critically. Dismissed, modest box office, mixed reviews for his actor-producer role. Some found him wrong for the role. Others praised his ability to rescue doomed ventures.
Yeah, you could see the early signs of a star grappling with the limitations of his persona, wanting to break free.
Which brings us to a really pivotal shift, what he famously called his millennium of bastards.
Huh. Yes.
This wasn't gradual, it was deliberate. A conscious, almost defiant move away from the charming persona. Gave him a whole new lease on acting, fresh, critical perspective.
It was strategic and I'd say profoundly liberating for him, artistically and personally. In Woody Allen's Small Time Crooks in 2000, he played David, an art dealer described as one of the sleaziest and most unsympathetic characters Allen had created.
And critics noticed.
Immediately, praised his perfect blend of charm and nasty calculation, showed he could weaponize that charm, twist it for darker purposes, a clear signal of his new direction.
And then came Daniel Cleaver in Bridget Jones's Diary in 2001, the charming but womanizing book publisher.
Variety lauded it as sly an overthrow of a star's polished, posh, and nice poster image as any comic turn in memory.
Right. But for some, was it just a more overtly villainous version of the same charming cad? Did it really break the mold or just darken it?
That's a fair point. It certainly channeled his wit into a less good character, but maybe still relied on the audience's comfort with his charm. However, I'd argue it was crucial precisely because it showed audiences that charm could be manipulative, seductive with ill intent.
Pushed the boundaries of his image, even if it didn't shatter it yet.
Exactly. Laid essential groundwork for more complex roles later. And the film was a huge hit, $281 million. Audiences were ready for an edgier Hugh Grant.
But the truly revelatory evolution, as many critics called it, really hit its stride in About a Boy in 2002.
Yes, Will Freeman.
Starring as the trust-funded, emotionally stunted womanizer from Nick Hornby's novel. Almost universal critical adulation. The BBC called it an immaculate comic performance. What made this role so different?
About a Boy was defining. The perfect vehicle. The Washington Post said it was that rare romantic comedy that dares to choose messiness over closure, prickly independence over fetishized coupledom, honesty over typical Hollywood endings. Grant's performance was key to that depth.
He played a character who was charming, but also deeply flawed, selfish, immature. Yet you rooted for him.
Exactly. It wasn't just funny. It showed vulnerability, loneliness, the slow, reluctant journey to genuine connection.
And the praise for his depth was unanimous. Rolling Stone noted, the acid comedy of Grant's performance carries the film, gives this pleasing heartbreaker the touch of gravity it needs.
Roger Ebert called him more than a star. He is a resource in the Cary Grant department. High praise.
Huge praise. Ann Hornaday praised his revelatory performance, lending layer upon layer of desire, terror, ambivalence, and self-awareness. This wasn't just a hit, it was a critical reevaluation.
The accolades followed. Third Golden Globe nod. Best British Actor from London Film Critics Circle, GQ Man of the Year. Beyond that, it marked a visible physical and stylistic maturation. At 41, lost weight, abandoned the floppy hair for a leaner and spikier look.
And nervousness was gone.
Replaced by a confident, often cynical ease. He blossomed into the rare actor who can play a silver-tongued sleaze with a hidden inner decency. A significant turning point solidified his new niche.
That physical transformation mirrored an internal one, gave him freedom. The pressure of the rom-com image lifted. So how did this manifest in the roles that followed, like Love Actually?
Precisely. If About a Boy was validation, Love Actually in 2003 was where he started consciously sculpting characters, even in a familiar Richard Curtis film. As the British PM, he wasn't just another charming lead. He actively tempered the character, insisted to be more authoritative, less haplessly charming.
Strategic image management on screen.
Absolutely. Controlling perception. Charm with an edge. Ebert still called him an absolutely splendid romantic comedian, while another critic called it an oversexed bachelor spin on Tony Blair. That blend of power, charm, naughtiness.
He continued that with American Dreams in 2006, the acerbic host of an American Idol-type show.
An amalgam of Simon Cowell and Ryan Seacrest. Critics hailed it as the great comic role that has always eluded Hugh Grant, noted he was twice as enjoyable as the preening bad guy as he was as the bumbling good guy, really leaning into the villainy.
A clear sign his comfort zone had expanded, deliberately seeking sharper, more cynical roles. Playing that preening host let him embrace his sarcastic side, deliver cutting lines with polished venom.
Very effective. A critical success, even if the film didn't perform financially, showed his ability to elevate a project.
And in 2007's Music and Lyrics, opposite Drew Barrymore, played a has-been pop singer. Fun fact, Grant, who famously said he neither listens to music nor owns any CDs, learned to sing, play piano, and dance for the role. This commitment let him mock disposable pop stardom and fleeting celebrity through the character.
Very telling. That commitment to acquiring skills for a role that also allowed satirical commentary highlights his growing interest in characters offering more than romance, letting him infuse performances with a critique of celebrity culture, an increasingly prominent theme, as we'll discuss.
Making a statement about fame.
Something he understood all too well.
Now, despite all this evolution, there was still this lingering one-trick pony debate in some circles. Some critics dismissed him for limited variety in early rom-coms, citing comic overreactions, the mugging, the stuttering, the fluttering eyelids, as mannerisms, not emotions.
This criticism, prevalent for a time, was something Grant himself strongly defended against, almost with a chuckle. He started, I genuinely believe that comedy acting, light comedy acting, is as hard as, if not harder, than serious acting. And it genuinely doesn't bother me that all the prizes go to the deepest, darkest, most serious performances. It makes me laugh. Unrepentant about his comedic choices, highlighting the bias towards drama, a self-assured, maybe contrarian artistic philosophy.
And it ultimately paid off because the cynical, self-loathing cad persona that developed in the 2000s was actually praised by critics for shedding the self-conscious aren't I adorable mannerisms.
He found his sweet spot in that darker, sharper comedic space, transformed a perceived weakness into a strength.
It truly let him evolve past the romantic lead limitations, embrace more complex, less sympathetic, but ultimately more authentic characters.
This wasn't just a pivot, it was a full embrace of his wit, an exploration of human flaws, often through comedy, the precise foundation for his character-actor renaissance.
Okay, so this brings us to what I think is truly the most exciting and liberating part of his career, the character-actor renaissance. It really kicks off with a wonderfully self-aware declaration after, did you hear about the Morgans in 2009?
Oh, I know this one.
Grant said, I got old and ugly, and I'm not appropriate for romantic comedy films anymore, which has been a great blessing.
Such a Hugh Grant line. Pragmatic, self-deprecating, but marked a significant turning point. Liberated him from conventional leading man expectations.
A profound artistic shift allowed him freedom to embrace more challenging, often incredibly evil roles, as he put it.
The pressure was off. A new world of creative opportunities opened up.
And he certainly did embrace the incredibly evil. In Cloud Atlas in 2012, he played 6 different incredibly evil dark characters.
6. A huge undertaking.
He initially thought he'd turn it down, but was interested in meeting the Wachowskis. Described the experience positively, from cannibal to corporate villain, pivotal in showcasing his newfound chameleon-like range.
A bold, audacious move. Proved he could completely transform, disappear into drastically different roles. A powerful statement. He followed this with The Rewrite in 2014, a dramedy where rom-com is just a small part.
And Tarantino called him a perfect leading man for it.
Remarkable compliment for someone trying to shed that label.
Even in supporting roles, he's shown. The man from UNCLE in 2015, his dry British intelligence operative, described as the only bit of fun in the film.
Stepping things up considerably. Scene stealer, making impact with limited screen time.
This period really solidified into what critics called his career best phase. Florence Foster Jenkins in 2016, playing St. Clair Bayfield opposite Meryl Streep.
Garnered raves from film critics as career best, one of his best performances in years, best work of his career. He brought such warmth, heartbreak, complex devotion, revealed emotional depths few had seen.
I remember the buzz. Everyone predicted an Oscar nomination, ultimately snubbed, but got BAFTA, Golden Globe, SAG nominations, huge recognition.
Sparked a full critical reevaluation. And then Paddington 2 in 2017, Phoenix Buchanan.
Oh, he was brilliant in that.
A delightfully theatrical, self-obsessed, fading actor, scene-stealing, an astonishing comeback. Won London Film Critics Circle Award, BAFTA nomination. IndieWire ranked it 22nd greatest movie performance of the decade.
Bringing that darker charm and theatricality to a family film, amazing range.
So fearless in his choices now. His return to PV was huge too. After 25 years, a very English scandal in 2018 as Jeremy Thorpe.
Called The Role of Grant's Life, his richest part in years.
His portrayal of Thorpe, charismatic and flawed, embroiled in scandal, earned Emmy, SAG, Golden Globe nominations, showed willingness to explore complex historical figures with compelling depth.
The freedom of character acting, especially on TV, let him delve deeper.
Absolutely. And the interesting, morally ambiguous roles kept coming. 2019, The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie film. Fletcher, a seedy and unscrupulous private investigator.
And he based the character on tabloid reporters who used to be my enemies and now they're my friends. Fascinating, given his activism.
Perfect example of personal experiences feeding into craft, adding layers of authenticity, sardonic humor. Critics called him the film's beating comic heart, sensational, owning this new identity.
Continued that streak in 2020, The Undoing opposite Nicole Kidman. Jonathan, charming husband accused of murder.
Widely acclaimed. Critics noted his ability to bring chilling charm to darker characters, keep audiences off guard. More SAG and Golden Globe nods. A dramatic powerhouse now.
Mastered portraying characters outwardly appealing but inwardly complex, potentially sinister. Plays with audience expectations.
Hallmark of a truly great character actor. You trust the charm, but question the intent. Gripping viewing.
In recent years, roles remain diverse, unexpected. Operation Fortune, 2023, another Ritchie film, delivered a fantastic character performance. One critic said he throws off the balance. No one else is as good.
He just commands attention, elevates every scene. You see it again in Dungeons & Dragons 2023, his goofball performance as one of the villains, highly praised, clearly having fun.
Leaning into villainous, quirky camp roles. Artistic liberation.
And speaking of quirky, the Oompa Loompa in Wonka 2023.
A showstopper. Director Paul King sought him out, saw him embodying the book's cynical, sarcastic, cruel, funny, but wicked voice. Shows how strongly his new persona has taken hold.
Despite some initial casting backlash, immense praise for a scene-stealing performance made the character his own.
Willingness to take unusual roles, transform himself, far cry from typecasting. Continuing with Heretic 2024, A24 horror, wildly against type, riveting turn, already getting major award nominations.
The depth and unexpectedness are remarkable.
Don't forget Unfrosted 2024, playing Thurl Ravenscroft, voice of Tony the Tiger, called the film's MVP, only consistently funny subplot. The sheer breadth and brilliance are incredible.
And for those thinking he's abandoned his past, he's reprising Daniel Cleaver for Bridget Jones. Mad About the Boy, 2025. Briefly but dramatically.
He said the script made him cry. Early reports note mischievous vitality plus poignant commentary on mortality.
Seems even returning to an old character, he's bringing new, mature, resonant depth, closing a fascinating circle with gravitas.
So if that's the on-screen Hugh Grant, let's turn to the Hugh Grant beyond the screen. He's developed this professionally misanthropic mystique. Perfect description.
Known for guarded privacy, profound distaste for celebrity culture, often offering a dead bat to any question he feels is not general enough, deflects personal inquiries.
He truly despises the celebrity aspect. Consistently. Described himself as a reluctant actor, called his career a mistake, hoped to be a phase.
But by 2020, after the shift to character roles, he said he enjoys acting now. Significant shift. Suggests earlier reluctance stemmed more from fame and typecasting than performing itself.
British papers calling grumpy, an image he seems to have cultivated, maybe embodies sometimes. But behind that, coworkers note he's a meticulous perfectionist.
Demands endless takes until he achieves the desired shot according to his own standard. Works incredibly hard to make acting appear spontaneous. Not a reluctant amateur, dedication of a serious artist.
Even dropped his agent in 2006, claimed total control. never takes career advice.
That meticulousness, fierce independence, demand for control speaks volumes, highlights an independent streak, willingness to forge his own path, which becomes incredibly significant in his later public life.
Almost predictive.
Sets the stage for his astonishing turn as an unexpected activist.
And this is where his story takes a truly astonishing turn. His emergence as an activist, particularly with the phone hacking expose. April 2011, groundbreaking New Statesman article, The Bugger Bug. Not just a celeb complaint, investigative journalism.
Detailed a secretly taped conversation with Paul McMullen, former News of the World journalist. McMullen chillingly alleged widespread illegal phone tapping, ordered by editors like Andy Coulson with full knowledge of senior British politicians. A bombshell.
Grant conducted his own sting operation, basically.
Pretty much. Ripped the lid off systemic wrongdoing in the press and political establishment.
McMullen also made serious claims about the close relationship between PMs from Thatcher onwards and Rupert Murdoch and his executives. Suggested David Cameron's inaction was due to self-interest and debt to Rebecca Wade.
This wasn't just gossip. It was about ethically compromising entanglements of power, media, political corruption at the highest levels.
And it went further. Police bribery allegations. McMullen asserted 20% of the Met has taken backhanders from tabloid hacks. Added, shockingly, what's wrong with that anyway? It doesn't hurt anyone particularly.
Incredibly damaging claims about systemic corruption, suggesting deliberate cover-up. Grant's article didn't just expose bad journalism, it exposed a rotten core.
Initially, interest was the celebrity turning the tables, but it escalated to widespread public and eventually political outrage after the horrifying million-dollar voicemail hacking revelations.
That was the tipping point. Grant became a prominent, articulate critic, appeared on BBC's Question Time, evolved from celebrity with a personal grievance into a passionate, effective spokesman against media malpractice for public accountability.
A profound transformation.
He reflected later, "It's been fascinating to have a little excursion into another world. Needed that, to be dealing with real life instead of creating synthetic life. Found purpose in battling for something tangible, ethical."
This fight became his most important role. Real-world consequences.
His activism had significant impact. Mirror Group newspapers apologized in 2018, admitted morally wrong actions. He accepted a six-figure sum, donated all to Hacked Off.
Showed it wasn't about personal gain.
More recently, 2024, settled another case against News Group newspapers, The Sun, citing the immense financial burden of a trial. Didn't want the enormous sum, but faced a potential $10 million bill even if he won.
Underscores the challenge of holding powerful media accountable, even for someone like him. NGN denied the claims in that case, but his actions had lasting impact on media ethics, public awareness.
Proved even a celebrity, if determined, can stand up to powerful institutions.
This wasn't his first brush with legal scrutiny either. The infamous Divine Brown incident in 1995. His arrest led to candid, refreshingly honest interviews.
Leno asked, "What the hell were you thinking?" Grant replied, "I did a bad thing, and there you have it. Told Larry King, I don't have excuses."
Unprecedented frankness for a celebrity scandal then, contrasted sharply with typical damage control.
His honesty earned surprising public sympathy. The affable gent shattered, but a more authentic, accountable individual emerged. Flawed, but honest. Arguably endeared him more to many.
Revealed an underlying integrity.
He also faced paparazzi assault allegations in 2007, arrested, charges dropped, insufficient evidence. And long before phone hacking, won substantial libel lawsuits. News UK Ltd in '96 associated newspapers in '07 for fictional articles.
Consistently used victory statements to highlight fabricated tabloid sources.
These earlier battles weren't just personal. They exposed unscrupulous, dishonest practices, directly foreshadowed his later activism, consistently showed disdain for media intrusion, willingness to fight back.
Now, away from legal battles and the screen, let's look at his personal life. Long-term relationship with Elizabeth Hurley, 1987-2000. He's godfather to her son, Damien.
Lasting connection there. He's also a father to 5 children with 2 women. A complex, unconventional, but deeply personal family life.
Daughter Jingji with Tinglin Hong, 2011. Son with Anna Eberstein, 2012. Another son with Tinglin Hong, late 2012. 2 more daughters with Anna Eberstein, 2015-2018.
He eventually married Anna Eberstein in 2018, clarifying it wasn't for passport reasons. Quintessential Hugh Grant remarked, dry, self-deprecating, cynical about public perception.
Right.
Highlights his guarded nature, but also commitment to family.
His political views align with his anti-establishment press stance. Supported Lib Dems in 2011, praising their good bill of health, saying they'd never been in bed with these scumbags, meaning tabloids.
In 2019, actively campaigned for tactical voting to prevent a conservative majority in Brexit. Canvassed for Lib Dem, Labour, independent candidates. Using his platform.
Continues this engagement, endorsed Green Party co-leader Carla Denyer in 2024, calling her a politician with integrity who puts the public first.
Demonstrates consistent commitment to causes he believes in, independent of party lines. Desire for ethical leadership. Invested in civic responsibility, social justice.
While he's had reported tensions with co-stars Robert Downey Jr., Drew Barrymore, later mended, he's praised many others, Sandra Bullock, Emma Thompson, Meryl Streep, a genius, Renee Zellweger, delightful.
Complex dynamic, humanizes him, shows he doesn't tolerate mediocrity, perfectionist tendencies, but recognizes and appreciates genuine talent, adds another layer.
He's also deeply involved in philanthropy, often quietly. Patron of Dipex's charity, Health Talk Online, and the Finvola Foundation, named after his mother, supporting adults with learning disabilities.
Absolutely. His mother's passing from pancreatic cancer in 2001 profoundly impacted him. Became fundraiser, ambassador for Marie Curie Cancer Care, patron of Pancreatic Cancer Action.
And in a gesture countering the grumpy image, December 2023, spent Christmas Day serving dinner to elderly residents for Hammersmith and Fulham Council's lunch.
Demonstrates profound empathy, desire to contribute to his community.
Lovely detail. Adds to the picture. Fun fact. Bought Warhol's Liz print for 2 meters in 2001. Sold it for 13 meters in 2007.
Not bad. Unexpected acumen there.
Also a sports enthusiast. Fan of Fulham FC, Italian club Como. Played rugby, football in school. Enjoys tennis, snooker. Though, caused a stir when BBC apologized for his "tackled like a queen" comment during rugby commentary in 2011.
Very him a little controversial, unvarnished, unmistakably Hugh Grant.
So we've really explored an incredible, multifaceted arc today, deep divers, from reluctant Oxford grad who dabbled in jobs, nearly quit acting, to global rom-com icon that acclaims character actor, and ultimately a prominent, passionate, effective voice for media ethics.
Quite a ride, eh? It continually revisits the paradox of his persona. The charming, self-deprecating English gent, always a partial truth, a persona he both inhabited and satirized. Beneath it, a meticulously controlled, fiercely private, principled individual.
His grumpy reputation, disdain for celebrity culture, far from drawbacks, became the qualities paving the way for his powerful activism. He channeled his antipathy into action.
Yeah, it's clear his most impactful role might not be on screen, but off screen, as a relentless campaigner against press intrusion, transforming personal grievances into a public good. An unexpected, significant legacy.
Which brings us to a provocative thought for you, our listener, to consider. Hugh Grant found his true voice, perhaps his deepest purpose, not embodying idealized romantic heroes, but when he embraced his millennium of bastards and channeled his famous antipathy and guarded privacy into a fight for something larger.
Something with real social and ethical weight. What does this tell us about the unexpected places we might find our most authentic selves?
And how our public image can both obscure and eventually, in surprising ways, illuminate who we truly are beneath the surface. Something to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.